Well, we are kicking off the 2-day trip, as you can see here, to South Carolina. Left on a Tuesday morning. Weather was good. As you can see, it started off dark. My camera doesn't really work that well with the contrast and dark controls and such, so I'm just going to burn through most of this high speed and chop most of it out. This first section is me crossing from just north of Sapulpa out to the turnpike east of Tulsa. And now I'm finally getting up top of gas and on the road. Currently I'm on a 2024 Street Glide. This is the first long trip I've taken on it. And so far I'm impressed. I'm using a SJ Cam C300 camera, which I'm brand new to. Don't use it in the past or for anything else. I'm guinea pigging this whole video thing, so we'll see how this turns out on this first trip. The sunrise camera doesn't do it justice. Riding into the sunrise is a thing of beauty, and I've always appreciated that, morning kind of guy. So like even Hawaii and whatnot, sunrise is my favorite time of day. And not to disappoint, Oklahoma Turnpike Authority is doing all the construction on the turnpike from east of Broken Arrow, basically all the way down to Weber's Falls. So thankfully, though, it was early in the morning on a Tuesday, as you can see, and there wasn't a lot of traffic running my direction, so I was able to move along at a pretty good clip. I think the road conditions that they're good so far through Oklahoma were really good, and I think it's been good trip thus far. Bike's running good, temperature's real good, and I'm looking forward to a good day. I don't know that I'm going to get wet. I don't think I am, but on the bubble in some of the areas in Oklahoma. Well, as you can see, I'm coming to the end of the turnpike. I'm getting ready to sneak up on Weber's Falls here shortly, but the weatherman said we might have spotty showers between here and Arkansas, so I went ahead and picked up the, Joy Walker rain covers for my Harley bag. I've got a 37-liter duffel and my standard 511 Tactical Rush 2.0 12-hour bag. So I picked up the Joy Walker rain covers for both of those, which those things from Amazon are pretty rugged, fit on real well, buckle up the right size, and so I'm set and ready for weather should I get into any. I'm not wearing my rain suit, but of course I got it in the saddlebag. But right now I'm looking pretty good. I don't think I'm going to get into anything here soon unless something sneaks up on me, maybe a little east of the state line or something, but other than that, it's right about this time of the trip I'm starting to settle in. Got the cruise control set and we're cooking along pretty good. I think we have maybe 30 or 40 minutes probably to the border, but I did a total of 700 miles, just under 700 miles this first day. My goal is to travel to Fultondale, Alabama. I think it's like 660 some miles, not counting any of my little routines that I take off the beaten path trying to find things. And I do plan on stopping. Hey, there we go, coming up on Weber's Falls. You can see that right there. I do take and plan to get to some Harley dealers and whatnot as I can along the trip, do the check-in with the Harley app and whatnot. Since I can't check into Myers-Durham anymore, I've already checked in there enough times. Met my quota for the year. Thank you very much. But running 80 on the turnpike was good. Bike handled it real well, just kind of chugged right along without too much issue. As you see, the problem here with the camera is running into the sun like I'm doing is it kind of washes out everything. But other than that, the camera stabilization and everything is real good. I'm running at 1080p is what I'm recording at, and that supposedly has the best stabilization for this cheap little entry-level camera. But so far I don't have any complaints. It's been the little trips around town that I've played with it seems to do what it's supposed to do in a fashion it's supposed to do it. So I don't have any complaints. I gave it a good review, but like I said, I'm brand new to this video thing, so by all means, if you got recommendations or whatnot, be gentle and go ahead and leave them in the comments, but we'll get better as we go. But you'll see sunlight here for a while going, and till we get closer to Arkansas, it finally gets high enough in the sky that it's not a washout kind of thing. Well, now that I'm on 40 and we're headed eastbound towards the Arkansas border, there's not a lot to talk about. As you see, I'm skipping through a lot of these things, and I am running, as you can tell, at a high speed, not only on the motorcycle, but the frame rate of the video, just to kind of not burn up so much of your time. The sun was such that we really couldn't see a entering the Arkansas state line. I was going to try and capture each one of the state, now entering state so-and-so signs along the way. I wasn't able to capture all those, either vehicles or what have you got in the way. And I wasn't in a situation where I could stop that much. This first 2 days of the trip, I have point A to point B, and I do have a timeline that I need to be in Florence, South Carolina by 4 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. I left Tuesday morning at about 6 o'clock, I think 6 a.m. is when I got on the road, a little before 6. And my goal is to be in Florence 4 p.m. on Wednesday. We have an engagement Wednesday night I need to be at, so that'll give me time to get in, get showered, get some blood flow back into the legs, and be ready and presentable, if you think. So as you see, the sun's finally up and out. I stopped for this is the second fuel stop. Relocated the camera, got it down on the engine guard alongside the right, as you can tell. On the engine guard along the right side of the front wheel. I think this is a pretty good video point. Picks up pretty good. It proves that I'm on a motorcycle. The first sections that you saw previously, and I'm coming up on Little Rock, as you can see. The first section, the camera was right top dead center above my headlight on the batwing fairing of the street glide. So I've got 3 spots. I put it there, down here on the engine guards, either left or right side, and then of course up on the handlebars. I haven't tried any other spots yet. Still, again, trying to figure these sorts of things out. The rain never came, so I am clear skies, white puffy clouds, hit and miss, and the temperatures are perfect. So couldn't ask for a better climate to ride in, and it looks like today's going to be a golden day, so the weather's going to be real good. Well, I had mentioned also about Oklahoma roads. Well, can't really tell, but in the picture, I think because the vantage point of the camera being so low, but Arkansas roads are nice and dark new asphalt, and by and large, the trip, I would say overall, now looking back on the whole thing, that I'm sitting in my chair, relax a little bit. Arkansas has got the best roads of all the ones I've traveled, at least on the west half. As it got closer to West Memphis, as you'll see, we've got some construction coming up that I got stuck in. Once we get past Little Rock, the roads start to fade going east in Arkansas, but then also, the tractor trailer traffic picks up like crazy. So, the traffic was real good prior to Little Rock. It picked up a little bit after Little Rock, of which a majority of the traffic after east of Little Rock was tractor trailers. So they deserve the road too, and as you can tell, we got to dodge and deal with some of them at times, but they do change the dynamic when you're ripping down the roads and cars are cutting them off and back and forth, and they're trying to pass one another. It is just what it is, as you know. So, but it's noticeably much more trucker traffic east of Little Rock, which it's been that way for years. But Arkansas did have the best roads. Obviously they've just laid down some fresh asphalt on top of everything, so hopefully it'll last for a little while. But can't complain about the road so far. Oklahoma's were good, and Arkansas's were really good. I don't have any complaint about the Arkansas roads. Now, once we got in towards Memphis, in the area of right near the state line, coming up on the river, going over the bridge and heading down through Route 78 as you come out of the south side of Memphis, That was a little sketchy and kind of questionable, but for the most part, that was the only area of the entire trip where the roads were questionable, as I'd say. Now, I did learn some lessons regarding the Harley navigation versus CarPlay, the Apple CarPlay connections. Learned some valuable lessons about this time into the trip. I'm into my second tank of gas. As you see, I'm coming on the east side of Little Rock where it splits towards Memphis and down into Little Rock proper. But I had put in waypoints. I want to stop here for gas. I want to see this Harley dealer. I want to do that along the way. So I was being very detail oriented in planning my trip. That really didn't work out too well. The Harley navigation software, as in the bike, as good as it is, it doesn't like the idea that you miss your waypoint. It keeps wanting to take you and route you back through that waypoint. So you had to stop the route and reload the download to try and get it, to pick back up and going to my next point. So ultimately I switched back and forth as I'd use the Harley navigation until it started getting off track from not stopping at the places I said I was going to, or being a little bit off, not quite giving me credit for stopping there. And I'd switch over to the Apple CarPlay, and I had both addresses parked in and just pick up from there until I got to the point that I wanted to stop and reboot the Harley Davidson. The lesson learned was when you create your HD route planner, it's probably better for me to just start with the quote your location unquote and not put in a starting address. And with the Harley stuff, just put in your end address. And it'll always track you to that ending point, regardless of where you're off the path or stop and start and what have you. Granted, it's not so neat to check your any waypoints you want to go to or what have you, but it really simplified the navigation. And once I did that, the HD navigation didn't miss a beat. It was accurate through the mountains, over the river, through the woods, to Grandma's house we went kind of thing. Where the CarPlay, I found myself with issues with the CarPlay. I'd be running down the road. I had my Wi-Fi on, so I got live updated traffic on both my apps, both CarPlay navigation and the Harley navigation. And then when it would switch servers or whatever, I'd get booted off the bike, and the bike would disconnect with the internet. And of course, while you're riding along, it wouldn't automatically reconnect all the time. So I'd find myself all of a sudden listening to Amazon Music or some of my songs on the phone, and all of a sudden I'd have to turn on and scan for a local radio station to keep the music going and just go without navigation until the point I could stop and get everything rebooted. I don't really like doing all that deep dive reboot stuff while I'm running down the road. But again, once I set the Harley navigation stuff up properly, it didn't miss a lick. On the way back, as I got into the Smoky Mountains and was doing the CheroHala Skyway, excuse me, the loss of cell phone, of course, was much more. So that was a luxury I didn't have on the way back for the first half of the trip. But the Harley navigation was well worth it once I figured out the proper way to plan my routes. So that's more me than the software, but me learning my different ways of doing things. So next time I know, if I go on a trip, I know how to set up the HD route planner, so I can just use my HD navigation start to finish, and I can let the cell phone and the internet connection cover all my phone calls, text messages, and Amazon or what have you music. As you can see here, we're coming up on the construction, and so the reason I didn't get off the highway was just prior to this. I just realized, or didn't realize until this time, that the internet had dropped off, so my map didn't update with the traffic warnings So while I was sitting here in the traffic and had time, I did reboot and get everything reconnected, and yep, lo and behold, it was red everywhere. So, but I was in it, and it was actually just better to sit and deal with it. Now it got hot traffic. The bike it's got that engine cooling, so it kicked the back cylinder off to try and keep me cool, but wasn't too bad. Could have been a lot worse. It did eat up about an hour of actual at speed time, so it did hit my mileage numbers for the day pretty good. But I did get to chat with some of the truckers through their windows and what have you, and it was pretty good. So all in all, not too bad. And this was, other than Columbia on the way out of South Carolina on the way coming home, this was the only traffic issue I had for the 2 days there. So I really can't complain. It wasn't that bad at all. So with that, sure enough, as soon as I got through the construction, it was time to take a break. I was ready to get off the bike. A little hot. Needed something to drink. I also learned hydration's an issue. So once I got through the construction and got real close, or actually in West Memphis, which is actually still Arkansas, I stopped and got some liquid refreshment and got off the bike, stretched the legs, and let things cool down a little bit before getting back on it and passing through Memphis. So, but the last part of Arkansas was the only activity we had, and things were, so far, it's a great day. I'm not quite lunchtime, so it's still mid-morning on Tuesday. And as you can see, the clouds in the sky, that's the weather I had for all 5 days. Now coming this way, across Arkansas and down through Memphis, south into Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, excuse me, South Carolina. This is the way we always went with my company years ago. So there's a couple of benchmarks I have knowing as I'm traveling across country is to gauge my progress. First of which is the bridge into Memphis. When you see that on the horizon, that you can see it pop up right there, I know I'm at least of my trip for today to Fultondale, Alabama, that I've got about 6 hours down and about 4 hours to go, maybe 5 hours down, but I'm over halfway, so the day's getting shorter. So always like seeing the river, welcome to Tennessee signs, even though I know here coming in a minute it's going to get, traffic's going to get busy as you travel down take the exit on, I believe it's 240, head south of Memphis proper and on into Highway 78. As you see the little diamond there to the left, which is the new Bass Pro Shops in Memphis. Fun fact, used to be the Memphis Grizzlies basketball arena years ago. So, but I'm glad to see it's still going. Lights up pretty good at night, even though I don't get to see that this time. But as you see, the traffic through Memphis it did step up a little bit. Cars and lanes zinging around, and but the road was, here's where the road was not quite as good as it was the rest of the areas in the trip, but still wasn't bad. I'm not going to diss on Memphis and their roads. I mean, they're just a high use, high traffic roads, and they are the condition that show that. So nothing really to complain about, but when you compare it to the western half of Arkansas, there's a big difference. So getting ready, we're going to take the Highway 78 two-lane road down south towards Mississippi. And this is, for me, is where it's usually always the busiest, because even though you're on a highway, it's still kind of a like street level traffic. So you've got a lot of trucks coming in. You got three truck stops right here in a row alongside the road. So the truck traffic's pretty high. And then once you get down here a little bit, through kind of a sketchy area of town. I wouldn't want to be down here in the middle of the night by myself, but once you get down here, ran out of lane. Once you get down there a little bit, there's a lot of offloading from the piers and the river and all the barges and container loads. So again, it's a real busy thoroughfare till you get a little closer to the Mississippi line. But once you get towards the Mississippi line, you see it's starting to open up a little bit. Traffic starts to get a little lighter once the tractors drop off at the yard. And as you can see here, I'm crossing into Mississippi. So it's time to get back on the gas, be able to set the cruise control and roll some tunes. And I think I want to make up a little bit of time. I'm a little behind my schedule that was in my mind. That hour of construction in West Memphis didn't help, but once I get out of the traffic, here I made it a point that I was going to step it up a little bit and just see if I could make up a little bit of time. Mississippi's roads were good as always, as was Alabama's, and coming up on Tupelo, the birthplace or one of the youngtown places of Memphis. I was talking to a guy on the road during the trip. He said, "Yeah, nothing ever happens in Tupelo." I said, "Aren't you an owner of the King somewhere or something like that?" So yeah, he doesn't matter. So it's kind of funny at that point. But either way, it's a good ride. It's not been hot. It's probably upper 70s, low 80s, and nice cool breeze once you get up to speed. So it's been a great trip for the day. Settled into a groove. I'm running full tank fulls, not stopping. Run down to where the gas light comes on, get off, get a drink, fill up with gas, and run another 4 hours or so till the tank is dry. So the bike is real comfortable. The suspension set is I don't know if you know, I set my suspension in accordance with the manual, got the right height set, set it in accordance with the instructions, and it made a big difference from stock. The only thing I did not do was adjust the hydraulic adjuster on the left side for my baggage and the extra gear I'm carrying today. So didn't do that, but it still was a good ride. I only bottomed once or twice and a couple of big hits, but it wasn't anything. It was still a good ride. The seat's doing pretty good, other than sweating a little bit. It gets a little hot. I need to maybe get a breathing layer on there or something. But for a stock bike, stock bars, stock everything, I can't really complain about the motorcycle. It ran real good, and I was able to tough it out. I mean, I ran, I think 11 or 12 hours that first day. But of course, an hour of that was sitting in traffic, so I don't know if that counts or not. But I think the whole day was 12 hours for that run, and it didn't feel too bad. Got off the bike there in Fultondale and worked out pretty good. So wasn't stiff or sore. Can't say that about the last day. When I got back to the house, I was ready to say goodbye to the bike for a few days. But here on the end of day one, it wasn't. I wasn't sore or anything to speak ill of. It was still impressed with the bike. It's running real good. All kinds of power it takes. It's just impressive. I should have probably pulled the trigger on a bike like this years ago. So learned some lessons, as I mentioned earlier, the navigation, but I'm starting to get it figured out here. I downloaded redid the maps during one of my stops, and it seems to be chugging along pretty good, so I don't have any issues there. But I didn't get full videos all the way to the end of the day. I ran out of battery, ran out of card kind of thing, so I'm still learning that method to the madness. But so it's going to end here in just a second, and I'll pick it up in the morning. Thank you. We'll talk to you in a bit. Good morning, day 2. Feeling real good this morning. Slept like a rock last night. Gonna go ahead and see about getting some breakfast and getting on the road. I'm just north of Birmingham, Alabama. Should take 7 hours to get to my location of Florence, South Carolina, according to the maps. And hopefully I'll have as halfway decent a day as we did yesterday, because yesterday was awesome. Talk to you later. Now, the hotel I stayed at in just north of Birmingham was the rate was pretty expensive. It wasn't a bad hotel. It was a good hotel, just like $200 a night kind of thing. And I asked her, I said, what's is this your going price, or is there something going on? And lo and behold, Space Force was in town. So I was just down the road from Huntsville, Alabama. Government facilities, and all the Space Force folks were doing their, as you heard in the news, seeing about moving to Huntsville. So hence the hotel rates were bumped accordingly. So that was a nice surprise. So I was in the neighborhood of Space Force, so I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But either way, getting up through Huntsville and down in through Birmingham, as you can see, I had some traffic. Didn't have any minutes. Everybody was pretty polite and friendly. I did have one guy that had to beep the horn on, but that's mainly my fault for getting in his blind spot and staying there long enough. So, but traffic was good. As soon as I got outside of Birmingham and started whipping around towards Atlanta, we got a little more leg room. The roads were, of course, in good shape, and Alabama's roads are well taken care of, but not bad at all. But as you can see, the sun's just coming up. Got an early start, getting ready to make the turn towards, excuse me, Gadsden, which is, I'm not going straight to Atlanta. I'm going to hook up and around. And this gets me up and around Birmingham and that area. And then I'll sneak back down to 20, as you see here in a little bit. And then I'll start heading towards the border and on towards Atlanta. I learned some lessons, packing gear, as I'd mentioned, and what have you, but as geography, keeping track of, jogging the memory as to which towns first. Birmingham, Atlanta, Augusta, and in between, of course, Birmingham and Atlanta, you've got a state change. So things are moving along pretty good. I'm getting back, as you see here, making the connection back down towards 20. And traffic was good again. The roads were clear, and I'm early in the morning, so I'm going to get along the highway and start making up some time as best I can, and we'll kind of see if we can turn this day out pretty good and get to Atlanta and on to Augusta and into South Carolina as quick as I can. You'll find here I quick dove an exit because I saw a Harley Davidson sign go past my left shoulder. So I'm going to stop in and take a look at what I found to be Hooligan Harley Davidson, which is on the west side of Atlanta. Early in the morning. Now these guys aren't, of course, here. I've got an agenda, so I don't have time to hang out with them. But I did want to stop and get as many check-ins as I could at all the Harley Davidson dealers that I passed. I didn't quite get as good a job as I thought I would on those, but here was one right alongside the highway that was an easy one exit, two turns, and get a hold of kind of thing. So as you can see, Hooligan Harley Davidson in just to the west side of Atlanta, Georgia. Looks like a pretty nice place. Looking in the window, I did get off the bike and walk around, stretch my legs a little bit, and take some water in from the saddlebag that I carry with me. I did learn some lessons yesterday about hydration and whatnot, so I'm going to try and do a better job of staying ahead of it today. And there's proof that, yep, the bike was there. So can't prove that I was there, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Well, now I'm on the mode of checking the clock after that break. It's a neat little Harley Davidson dealership by the looks of it. Too bad didn't have time to hang out. But now I'm in the mood. I got to get through Atlanta. I want to get through Atlanta before midday rush. Like I said, it's now Wednesday in the morning. Maybe 10 o'clock, give or take. Oh, and here's a couple little two roundabouts. So just so you know, folks in the Georgia area like roundabouts is for their little small get-offs too. So that kind of caught me off guard. Not that I have anything against them, but two of them back to back. A quick little fuel stop and back on the road. I'm coming up. You'll see the Atlanta skyline here to the left here in just a little bit. It's a pretty good skyline. It's, to me, the benchmark is the Westin Hotel, a nice round hotel. It's about the tallest building there. I stayed there for a trade show a few years ago, little fun fact, and we were up on one of the top floors, and you can actually feel that building move. So wasn't one of my best night's sleep, I don't think, because I don't know, might have been some of the beverages, but yeah, you could feel the building move as tall as it is. So I'm not a high-rise kind of guy anyway. So, but either way, you'll see the Atlanta skyline here pretty quick, and then after that, it's all points east of there on the road. What is it? Eastbound and down, as far as the old song goes. So things are running good. Bike's running good. I'm feeling okay. Gasoline I'm getting pretty good mileage. I'm running about 47, 48 miles a gallon. Things are doing good. So I can't complain. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop or the hammer to fall, as the saying goes. I've had such great weather, great temperature. I am waiting to get hammered with rain. I'm sure I'm going to get soaked. But at this point, it looks like it's going to be on the way back because the weather of where I'm going for today all the way through South Carolina looks to be really good. At this point, just cruise along, got the radio going. Haven't had any issues really with breaking in and logging in, losing the internet with the phone, as I'd mentioned about yesterday's trip. But again, I'm better prepared. I'm using the navigation on there's Atlanta, and can't quite see the Westin in this view. This is where I think some of these things is where I think a 360 camera would be justified, because the straight looking forward, you miss some of your side views, or the 360 I'd be able to turn and take a better look at the skyline. Also, as you can see, I found a HOV lane which was empty, and as you see, I'm passing the people, but they're moving pretty quick, so I'm not passing them fast, and lo and behold, I got people zoom gonna be going by me in just a second. So I'm faster than everybody else, but boy, the folks in Atlanta really get moving. But yeah, it's good traffic. As you can see, I'm getting through Atlanta at a good time of day. There's no real problems. And now I'm starting to, again, as the longer this day goes, the longer and harder I'm looking at South Carolina. So at this point, things are going good. And I think that's the last thing to be able to actually remark about. I blew through Augusta. There's not, other than the South Carolina, welcome to South Carolina sign, there wasn't anything to look at in Augusta, and it'll be up here real soon. Now, as I'm traveling down the road, I'm starting to think about, okay, looking at the gas mileage. All right, do I want to get gas before Augusta, in Augusta? Because I couldn't quite remember what was available for fuel on the far side, east side of Augusta, because I kind of remembered getting into South Carolina. There wasn't much there. So at this point, I'm starting to make the, starting to think of the plan of where to go to do the gas thing. And I decided that I'm going to go ahead and pull up a little short and get gas on the near side of Augusta. And here I am taking for that. So, which was kind of a crazy. I pulled into this street and there's lots of chaos. About got tagged a truck. And then you'll see here in a second, I got a guy right on my bumper trying to push me through the gas station. And there's another guy trying to come in the other side as I'm topping off. So this exit was pretty insane with the traffic for this gas stop. One of the most hectic. So I couldn't get out of that town, that little section of town, quick enough. But back on the highway, just shy of the border, and I'll be in South Carolina here in just a minute. And let's see, we are welcome to South Carolina. Should be coming up. And there you go. Welcome to South Carolina. Something I got a couple hours left, and we stick a fork in this day. Realized I hadn't eaten all day, so I'm going to step in here real quick and drive around this craziness and try and find myself some food. And didn't quite make that turn all the way around. I'm kind of embarrassed on that U-turn, but I parked here for a little bit, went and got some water and some food, and out the door I go. Nothing but a quick pit stop, but it was one of those things. I wanted to stop shy of Columbia and just get some food, and early enough, knowing I was going to have a big dinner activity this evening. So now back on the road, and again, I'm coming up onto the end of this, on the end of this trip, because this is should be coming close to Atkins, and then on through in towards Columbia, and past Columbia get into Florence. So I can almost smell the hotel in Florence at this point. I don't have much of a things to look at. It's good traffic, good roads again. There's a lot of people out. I can the breeze is good. Temperatures are probably low 80s, still not real bad. Just mind numbing, head down, twisting the throttle to get to my location to put an end to this day. And that is what I am looking for right there, the first sign for Florence and Savannah. So we are sneaking up on the exits to get into my final destination. It's been a good ride. As you see, the clouds are coming in. It's cooling off a little bit. Thought I might get wet here in a minute, but turned out to be safe and sound. No moisture the entire trip. It's right at 1,100 miles and change. And here we are pulling into the hotel. So I had to sit in the on the vehicle a little bit to kind of get my legs, get some blood flow back in them as I sit here just stretching, making sure they'd stay underneath me once I got off the bike. But thanks for being there, and we'll see you next trip.